Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. And for those of you that are new to my channel, I want to say thank you and welcome to my channel. You are not going to regret clicking on my channel, I should say. So for today's video, as you guys can tell by the title, I wanted to do an updated foundation routine. I haven't done one in 4 months, but I do have a new foundation routine, and it's what's been working for me. And I've been getting a lot of compliments actually on my makeup. When I go to work, when I'm out, when I post pictures on Snapchat, Instagram, I just get a lot of requests and a lot of compliments when I do my makeup. So I thought, hey, why not sit down and film a updated foundation routine? And I was requested by one of my friends, and she's actually been asking me to do it. So you know who you are. So for today's video, I'm going to start off by taking the Nature by Nature Flash Matte Perfecting Primer, which looks like this. You guys all know that I have been, so excuse my nail. You guys all know that I have been loving this one. I'm literally like almost out. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take some of this. Again, I use matte primers just because I like my face looking a little bit more matte. I can't do dewy. I just can't. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take that. And I'm going to apply that all over my face. I've been like breaking out really bad. I think it's this weather, like the constant changing, because I feel like I've been getting dry. And I went ahead and I did my eyebrows and applied some lashes already. So while that is kind of soaking into my skin, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to tell you guys what foundations I've been using and why I've been using them. So the two foundations that I've been using is the Jouer Essential High Coverage Cream Foundation, which looks like this, and this is in the shade Latte, I believe, yes. And then I mix it with my Hourglass Stick Foundation in the shade Nude. So this is what they two look like. Both really high-end foundations. I know they may be a little bit pricey, but it's what's been working for me, and I get the most coverage out of these two. This one by itself has amazing coverage already, but I just like a little bit more coverage. Again, this one is a bit darker. If you guys have been watching some of my previous videos, I did mention that I was using this foundation, but it was a little bit too dark for my skin tone, and this one is a little bit too light. So mixing the two together gives me like the perfect color. It's still a little bit dark because I use one more of this one. And the reason why I mixed these two is because this one I did mention that I had been using it, but since it is matte, it leaves my skin feeling kind of dry, I could say, which obviously that's what matte is, but not for my liking. And then the Hourglass Stick Foundation leaves it a little bit more dewy. So as I said, I use more of this one, so combining the two makes it like the perfect matte. So with that being said, what I did in the beginning when I first started doing this, I've been doing this routine for about, I want to say, a couple weeks now, and I can totally tell like the difference in my makeup. And the reason why this video was kind of long awaited and I took kind of long to record was because I wanted to wear the foundation out for a while and not only for a couple days and then come on here and give you guys my opinion when it wasn't going to be my true honest opinion. So I wanted to go ahead and try the foundation for a long period of time so that way I can give you guys my true and honest opinion and not like half-ass this video. So as I said, when I first started doing this color combination, I would put this one on first and then I would go in with this one. But I found since this is a little bit more full coverage, when I would blend this one out on top of this one kind of didn't show up. So it was looking a little bit darker. So I'm going to switch them the other way. It's the same thing. It's still going to give me the same amount of coverage, but I'm going to go ahead and switch them. So I'm going to apply this one first, and then I'm going to go ahead and apply this one. Okay, and then I'm going to take about 2 pumps like that. And 2 pumps is like more than enough. So I'm going to go ahead and take my Beauty Blender. So as you can see, this one is a little bit darker. Again, just blend it down my neck. So as you can see, just going in with that one time, it blended so beautifully and it gave me all that coverage. So this is So this was 2 pumps of the foundation. You guys can see how much coverage this foundation alone gives me. Again, but this one does oxidize on me, so that's why I go in with the Hourglass. So literally, this is all I have left in my foundation. So what I do is I take a little brush and I just go in and I scrape it out. And you're going to be able to see the difference why I say this foundation is lighter. So that's why I go in with this one. And when I add this one, I don't add it to give me more coverage per se. I add it for the fact of it balancing out in color. Okay, then I'm gonna go in with my beauty blender. So to me, right away, that made it way lighter. As you can see, this is the side that I blended out, but in between here is the areas that I applied the Jouer one. So as you can see, it really helped it out, and it lightened it, and I didn't have to go in with very much product. I just felt when I did it the other way around, since I did the lighter shade first, it really didn't kind of balance out the darker shade. So I figured why not just switch the two. So now that the foundation is all blended out, I don't go in with much concealer if I'm going to be honest. I just mainly apply it to brighten up the under eye, because as you guys can see, it's already pretty much concealed and I have no like dark under eyes. So for concealer, I'm going with the LA Girl Pro Concealer in the shade Porcelain. As you guys know, this has been like my ride or die since, honestly, I want to say like the beginning of my YouTube. It's never failed me. But if I'm going to be honest, the only thing that I do have to say is I'm not sure if it's because of the foundation being a little bit matte, but I feel like it hasn't been giving me full coverage like it has before. Maybe it's because the foundation is already like full coverage, so it's not giving me like the full capacity of its coverage, I guess I can say. But I have felt like it hasn't been giving me the most coverage. And when I blend it out and when I set it with the translucent powder, to me it kind of looks like, not patchy, but I'm pretty sure you guys know like those little white dots that it looks like under your eyes. I feel like I've been getting those. Again, I'm not sure what it could be, but my guess is that the foundation is probably already full coverage, so this doesn't really do anything. But again, I don't use it to conceal, I just use it to brighten up. And these are only the three places that I apply the concealer. And then again, I'm going to go in with my beauty blender and then just start to blend that out. And since that has been happening, what I do is I just lightly blend it out, just so I'm not taking so much product away. And then with my nose highlight, I kind of just barely tap it, just because I like how that looks when it's really highlighted. And then I just tap around it just to kind of blend everything in. Okay, so before that sets and starts creasing, I'm going to go in and I'm going to take my Kat Von D translucent powder. It looks like this. Yes, I know it's all messy. So with this, I pretty much bake underneath my eyes. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take another beauty blender. This is the Real Techniques one. I'm going to look up to get a flat surface, and then I'm just going to start to set. Just like that, and then I set my nose. And this is where my makeup routine has kind of changed along with the foundations. Is I get my beauty blender and I get the big side of it, and I go in and I actually, whatever it was left on this top, I'm not sure if you guys can see that. So all that is left right here, I'm going to go in lightly, just like that. And then I'm just going to start to set my entire face with this. And what this is going to do, it's going to leave it looking really matte. And when I go in with my bronzer, it's going to have a clean and nice surface for the bronzer just to kind of slide and glide on. Because before I did this, when I would skip this out on my makeup routine, I would find that when I would put my bronzer on, it would leave it kind of muddy and patchy, and I hated how it looked. So I think I got this technique. I'm not really sure where I got it, and as some of you may know, if you guys have been around for a while, I don't normally go in, or I don't go in at all with setting powder. or with like a face powder. So this is kind of taking place as my face powder, and I feel like this works just as good. But I was setting it before with this brush right here, which is the Sonia Kashuk, and no shade or whatever towards this brush. But I found that when I was using that brush, when I would set my foundation with the translucent powder, I feel like it was leaving it looking a little bit shiny. And I did not like how that looked, because even when I would wipe away the excess on my under eyes, it looked really shiny. And I'm like, this is supposed to leave it looking matte, not shiny. And in the beginning, I couldn't tell what it was from. And I ended up switching to my beauty blender one day, and I was like, let me just try it with my beauty blender. And I ended up coming to the conclusion that it was my beauty blender that was making it look shiny. So that's why I just end up now sticking to my beauty blender, and it gives me the same result. So then what I do, instead of wiping away the excess underneath my eye, is I just lightly start to blend that into the skin, just to give it a little bit more coverage. So we're looking a little bit pale right now and a little bit like a ghost. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start to bronze up. And where is my bronzer? It's right in front of my face. So again, I take my Hoola Benefit bronzer. Literally, guys, I am almost out. This is the only amount that's holding on. Right there. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take that on this crown brush. Looks like this. It's like a big powder brush. I think I explained why I like using this brush in one of my last videos. I'm not sure which one it was, but I just get it. My bronzer, I guess, has stayed the same, except for the fact that it looks way more natural than it used to, just for the fact of me setting my face first. Because when you don't set your face and you go in with bronzer, what you're doing is you're putting powder on top of like liquid or cream or whatever kind of foundation you're using. So it's obviously going to make it like slide, and it's going to look a little bit muddy, which was my case. And I couldn't figure out why it looked like that. And the day that I started setting my entire face, when I went in with my bronzer, I was like, oh my gosh, like it just looks 10 times better. And I like this bronzer just because it's not so intense. And it's funny because I was on Twitter and I had posted a picture of my makeup, and this girl had commented on my picture. She had asked me what bronzer I was using because it looked really natural. And I told her this one, and she told me that she had never heard of this bronzer before. And I told her that she should definitely try it out, and she did. And she ended up like commenting back on my picture. She goes, oh my god, like thank you so much. I bought this bronzer and I love it so much. So that's what I like about it, because it's not really intense, and I feel like it goes really good with my skin tone. So as you guys can see, it's giving me like a subtle bronze. So then I'm going to go in now to contour and to deepen up and intensify it. But to do that, I'm going to take my Too Faced Chocolate Soleil bronzer in the shade Medium Deep Matte. And then you can use two brushes. I actually use two brushes. I use these two. I use an angled one. This one, the bristles are a little bit softer. And then I use this one right here. Oh, this one right here. So these are the two that you can use. Honestly, to me, it doesn't really matter. But I'm going to go in with this one just because this one is a little bit softer. And I'm only going to get a little bit of that one. And I'm only going to focus that towards the outer part of my face. And then I'm going to do circular motions. Okay, now we're almost done. And then I honestly, before, I used to cut my contour, but I didn't like how that looked. Just because I didn't like it looking like really like sucked in. I like more of a natural, how it kind of looks right now, just like a subtle, like if it's a bronzer within. So I stopped cutting my contour or whatever. But moving on to blush, I'm going to take my Stila Custom Blush. This is how the packaging looks. And inside, this one doesn't have a name, which I found it kind of weird. But I have mentioned this one in my videos before. Don't mind my nails. I need to get my nails done. But I really like this one. And I apply this before I apply my highlight, just because when I apply this one, before I start rambling again, I'm going to go in with this blush brush from BH Cosmetics. Whoa! So the reason why I go in with the blush first is because I kind of apply it to the apples of my cheeks, and I blend it back into my contour or bronzer. So that way it kind of blends in, because I found that when I would go in with my highlight and then I would go in with my blush, it kind of covered my highlight and it kind of looked a little bit weird right in these areas. So that's why I kind of just stopped doing my highlight first, and now I do my blush. And this one just gives me like a subtle little I'm not sure if you guys can see that. And the highlights that I've been using, there's two that I have been sticking to non-stop are these two, which is the Morphe Babe in Paradise, and this is the collaboration with BretmanRock, and then the Anastasia and Amrezy collaboration. So I literally honestly been going in with both. I was using them separately, but then I mix them together and it was just a miracle. And then I'm going in with my Morphe M510. As you guys know, this one has been like my ride or die. So from the Babe in Paradise, I'm going to take Mahu, and then I'm going to mix it with Amrezy. And then I just lightly, I use a really light hand just because I knew before when I would apply my highlight, I went in with a really heavy hand, and that's why I always got that like straight line. So now I literally go in with a soft hand. Okay, so I went ahead and I just applied a nude lip, but this completes the entire look. So as you guys can see, it looks really subtle, but it's still very glam. It's very full coverage, as you guys know, and as I mentioned in the beginning. So overall, yes, I know that these foundations are expensive. This one I want to say was $49, $39, $49. I'm actually not too sure honestly how much this one was. I know that it was, obviously it's in the expensive category. This one I actually have no idea. I'm not even going to take a guess of how much this one is, but I got this one such a long time ago. That's why I'm almost out, because I was swearing up and down by this one and I love this one, but this one was a little bit more dewy for my liking. This one again was a little bit more matte, and I think I'm going to do a separate video using the Jouer one, and just to give my full thoughts and review on this foundation, because I know that I just started using this one and I didn't do a video and I didn't mention anything about it. I just started using it. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to save this for a separate video just to give my full thoughts and opinions on it. So that's why I go ahead and I mix these two. So that pretty much concludes the entire video. If this was helpful to you in any way, shape, or form, make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you guys aren't already. Make sure to share this video just to, you know, give people out there some tips and tricks on foundation and what foundations work for certain, you know, skin types, or what foundations are the best out there right now. In my opinion, I know that there's millions and millions of other foundations out there, but these two are the ones that work for me and have been working for me and my skin type. And that is pretty much all I have to say for this video, and I will see you guys on the next one.